Let's do basic math in Python. Go to collab.research.google.com, click on that new notebook option. Let's go ahead and title this one Basic Math. It's important to title your notebooks so that you can reference them later. Leave the .ipynb, as that stands for IPython Notebook and is essential. Okay, now I want you to imagine if you were the programmer. How would you want somebody to be able to add, subtract, multiply, and divide numbers, right? Like let's just take 6 and 2 as an example. If you were deciding the code and you want somebody to be able to add 6 and 2 as a programmer, what do you think they should type? The reason why I'm suggesting this is because if you can predict code before you've seen it, that's an amazing step that you can take to get better at programming. So go ahead and try something. Just add 6 and 2 the way that you think it should be done. Okay, I don't know about you, but I would like to try 6 plus 2. So go ahead and enter 6 plus 2, press Shift Enter to run the code. That first coding cell does always take a moment. And then think about the expected answer. It's always good to check code with numbers that you know. You do get the expected value of 8. Similarly, try 6 minus 2 and press Shift Enter. You get the expected value of 4. 6 times 2, times uses the asterisk. So go ahead and enter 6 times 2 and press Shift Enter. Then you get 12. And finally, 6 divided by 2, which uses the standard forward slash. And again, think about what you expect the answer to be before you in fact reveal it by pressing Shift Enter. Look at that. That's a surprise. Every previous result was a whole number. 6 divided by 2 is in fact the whole number 3, but Python is showing it as 3.0. This is interesting. Now, when you want to dig a little deeper into code, my recommendation is that you just try things out. Like let's try 5 divided by 2. Okay, press Shift Enter, and you get 2.5, which is the correct mathematical answer. So it may surprise you to find out that 5 divided by 2 in some other coding languages will give you 2. Okay? Python gives you the mathematically correct answer with division, and the way it does this is it always gives you a decimal because in programming languages, there are different types, and it takes a different amount of memory to store a decimal than it does a whole number. So, what is a type? Well, you can find out by actually entering the word type. You can see it's color-coded. It's a keyword in Python, followed by a parentheses, and then inside, let's try the number 3, okay? And so what this is going to do is going to reveal to us the type of code that the value 3 is in Python, and we get int revealing that it is in fact an integer. Next, try the type of 3.0. Okay, so enter that, press Shift Enter to run the code, and you can see that you get a float, which is basically Python's name for a decimal. And so these are the two primary kinds of number types. Types are very important in Python. Later, when you build machine learning models, you must have all numerical types. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. What if we try to combine, say like integers with floats? What do we get? What about 2 plus 3.1? If you press Shift Enter, you get 5.1. Okay, as expected, right? What if you try 2 minus 1.8? What do we get? Look at that. That's probably a surprise to you. It's not what is expected. And so what's going on here? Well, you can see right there the number of places that Python uses, to perform computations, and it's utilizing some algorithm to get that answer. Okay, it rounds to the correct answer, but it's I don't know, it's one of the trade-offs from using floats in different ways, okay? So what else can we do? Well, notice that if I write it like this, 2 minus 1.8, okay, there's no spacing involved. I showed spacing above. Here I don't have spacing, I get the same result. If I add a bunch of spaces, I get that weird point there. And that's weird because that's sort of like syntax if you are, typing sentences. And we can just try to press Shift Enter and we do get the expected value of negative 7.0. Okay, so the lesson here is that horizontal spacing in Python is actually flexible. When you go straight to an operation, that's permissible in math, or if you want to add a space for readability, that's permissible. I don't know why you would want more than one space, but you certainly could if you wanted. Next, order of operations. 2 plus, okay, 3 times 4. What do we expect to get here? In math, you actually multiply and divide before you add or subtract. So in math, we would get 3 times 4, which is 12, and then get the 2, which would be 14. That's different than if you did 2 plus 3 first and got 5, and multiplied by 4 and got 20. So let's find out. Okay, does Python use the order of operations, or does it simply go left to right? So we find out by running the code, press Shift-Enter. Look at that. Python follows the order of operations, so that is great. Why? Because that's what math does, and Python is a great math language. So if you wanted to do 2 plus 3 first, you can simply use parentheses. So go ahead and enter some parentheses, put in 2 plus 3 first, then the times 4. Up to you if you want to use the spacing or not. I like to use it for more readability. Press Shift-Enter and you get the different value of 20. So great job making it through this lesson. You're now learning how to experiment with Python numbers. You're learning about different types, and you're learning about how parentheses can help you with the order of operations to get the mathematical results that you want.